Welcome back to Visited by Voices Live for Just Talking Genre for August 25th of 2021, which still doesn't sound like a real year to me. Sam, how are you?
Money, money, yeah, yeah. Money, money, yeah, yeah. Come on, sing it with me.
I think you might have come to the wrong place.
No,
I
it's
don't think.
JTG Day. This is correct. This is Just Talking Genre Day.
Oh,
You're like, this is a wrestling reference, isn't it? And I'm like, yes.
yeah, I have no clue.
I know. I'll let you be Shad Gaspard. R.I.P.D.
That could be either a compliment or an insult. I'm not sure.
Oh, Shad was awesome. R.I.P. though.
Oh, so I'm a dead man. Wow. Well,
Well, yeah, but you died very heroically, and we all miss you. So,
did they actually kill?
God, this is really off to a bad start, isn't it?
Do they actually kill off characters in professional wrestling? Do they actually?
No. The wrestler actually he passed away last year. So, yeah.
They should do that though. Don't you think it raise the stakes considerably? Everyone knows it's fake anyway, so what the hell?
I mean, they did blow up Mr. McMahon, so I don't
Did
know
he
why
come
I'm
back?
calling him Mr. McMahon. Vince, the sociopath that runs WWE.
Money
That
does
was
that.
pretty great. Production value back in the Attitude Era was mwah,
Wow.
mwah.
Wow.
Yes.
So, besides cows in the backyard, how have you been?
I've been all right. I actually have so Chris and I got our COVID shots, our COVID vaccines. We didn't actually get like shot with legit COVID, just like counterfeit COVID. So we got J&J vaccines. And we did that Saturday because this is what we do as adults, as married people. The most fun that we usually have is going and getting vaccinated now. But aside from that, I mean, no real big side effects or anything. I just had like one day where I was feeling icky because it felt like I was going through like antidepressant withdrawal again, and then just passed away. But we both had like crazy dreams the night that we got it. And I kind of looked around on Twitter. Some people have had the weird fever dreams, others have not. And I don't know, maybe it's just a one-off. So mine was fucking bizarre though. And so I had this dream. I was working in some strange sort of like like Hollywood production building. So my bed and my office were the same thing. And we also had to work with the actors. And I was doing something like, I'm hoping I was doing something useful like writing, something interesting anyway. And I kept getting like harassed by Steve Carell because he kept trying to like take one of his co-stars in and fuck on my bed. And I was like, get the fuck out of here. And the first time I managed to chase him off because I was like, I'm just going to start recording, hold up my phone and whatnot. And then they come back again. And, I was just, at that point, I was just done. So I was like, I'm going to get as much attention to these assholes as possible. And so I was thinking, well, what gets the most attention? Usually yelling fire. And so, you know how you can't really talk in a dream? And sometimes it's like you might have to scream or shout and it doesn't come out. And that happened to me the first time, and I was like, no, I'm really going to push through with this. So in the middle of the night, Chris wakes up to me going, fire! Holy shit. Oh my god. That J&J vaccine is wild.
I just got real sick when I got the Moderna. So I went through 24 hours feeling fine, and I was like, yes, say that's not a problem. And then literally I just felt every symptom that I possibly could just descend on me all at once. Eyes started watering, felt absolutely atrocious. And that lasted till the next morning. So, yeah, but the way I figure it is there's 3 major vaccines, 4 kind of. I figure at least one of them has to be creating kind of the Mad Max Road Warrior type of mutants, and I'm hoping it's going to be Moderna because I think I've always kind of wanted to ride a motorcycle. It's just a bad idea for me. So that's my take.
You could always what if you meld with the motorcycle? What if you become a motorcycle mutant?
That sounds like a bad Progressive commercial though. So
yeah, that is true. It does sound like that.
Although, but speaking of that, I'm one of those guys that you always love to sing all the trailers in the movie theater. Like you couldn't show enough movie trailers when I got there when I was younger. Loved them. But then they started playing frickin' television commercials on screen. And this really offends me because we're already paying for a ticket. Now, a movie, it's also an advertisement, so the trailer is kind of the same thing. I get it, but it's not, too, because culturally, like, we're there for movies, right?
Yeah.
But Coca-Cola in car insurance?
I know.
Why do we tolerate this? I mean, do the theaters just not understand that one of the things that's being rushed people away from them is just that you sit down for your 9 o'clock movie and it's 9:25 before your movie starts? And yeah, you could just show up late, but
How many years has it been now since we've had like Regal First Look? I mean, at least like we've got, for us, we have mostly Regals, a few AMCs down here, although they're slowly taking over. All of our I think our Regals are closing down. We still have all of our Santikos though. I haven't been to a Santikos in a while. But I'm trying to think of when those started because it feels like those started pretty early, like around in the early 2000s at least.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't mind if they're gonna like have some kind of pre-show before the start time. I'd prefer it not to be actual ads, but if it's like, oh, this is a television show that's coming out, here's a movie, no problem. And if it's like 15 seconds of Coca-Cola being poured into a bottle saying, hey, let's go to the lobby, no problem either.
Yeah.
It's when I see actual television commercials on the big screen that all my antenna just go up and I'm like, what? I'm paying for this.
Yeah. And it's worse because they're making you look at it on a big screen.
Yeah, definitely.
It just makes me hate it already.
So tonight I'll be drinking Wild Bill's Vanilla Cream.
Ooh.
In this thing, which I put ice in. I don't know if that was a good move or not. It's tin or aluminum, or as the British say, aluminum or some fucking awful thing they say. But this will be the second that I've drank.
I'm actually really looking forward to seeing this. Because vanilla cream sounds pretty good. And I'm usually not down for weird vanilla sodas.
I'm making a mess doing this.
It's okay, it looks great. At least on camera.
So this mug would actually hold 2 cans of the soda, by the way.
Oh, damn. That's a fucking big-ass mug. I just realized it's like the size of your head. Okay, well, maybe not quite, but close. It's the size of your face.
So definitely very, very, very vanilla. Kind of like a vanilla bean ice cream vanilla.
Does that translate over to carbonation?
The carbonation is what's throwing me, I think, because it also has that slight bite of the carbon. I like it. I definitely like it. I think I liked the sarsaparilla more, but there's 10 more to go, so there's a lot of room to find a new favorite.
That's very true.
This is going to bleed condensation all over everything, so I have to definitely use a napkin under it.
What, no coasters?
In my office? Not a chance.
Hey, honest question. I have one coaster. It says, stop, put your glass here.
Unsurprisingly, there's Ouija board coasters in this house, but not in my office.
Yeah, I saw the planchette that you mentioned picking up at Spirit. Also, they have a lot of really cool tarot stuff and really nice Ouija, like just Ouija decorations in general. But really, I love all of the tarot themed horror shirts, and they've also got some of the kind of like Golden Book like horror shirts as well. I'm enjoying. I mean, I would usually be hard pressed to pick out one, but we all know I'm going to choose Freddy. So
we all know
I'm basic. I'm basic. I am basic AF over here.
I'm actually transitioning my wardrobe away from all the like big company like the Fright Rags and Terror Threads. I'm pretty much just getting rid of them, of the big franchise stuff that I used to, because they've been with me 6 or 7 years at this point, and the reality is I'm just going through a stage where old punk rock is back in my life in a big state, so that's what I'm kind of like rebuilding. It's something that makes me happy, lets me get out some aggression in a world that's full of things that make me aggressive. So
yes.
Yeah. So I think the healthier thing is a charged GBH shirt rather than Jason killing Corey Feldman, although there's something to be said there too, I guess.
We just mix the two together.
That would be easy to do with some editing software.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say hello to some people out there in the chat. We got more people watching than chatting, so if you're out there, don't be shy. Only a few of them bite. Big Crack Rock's out there. Tasha's out there. Dave Vanderhoff is out there. Laundry is out there. Orc is out there. And Jake just came in. I think that the chat's running slow on my side, so Jake's probably been here. Jake does mention that thanks to the damn weather, everything I drink has condensation dripping off of it. Hell yeah, man.
Yeah. Good Lord. I've been trying to make fall happen for a while, like, and like Starbucks just launched brought back the pumpkin spice lattes, which I know everybody's excited about. I'm kind of iffy on it just because I'm not huge into pumpkin beverages, but Chris is like 100% on board with pumpkin flavored everything. Like as soon as they get released, it's like pumpkin for fucking 4 months. But that apple crisp macchiato sounds really tasty, and I really want it in a cold brew because we're not going to get any cold weather down here for a while. Hopefully it'll happen before November though, because I can't deal with like a giant, like a crazy ass Indian summer over here. It's too hot. It's too hot, and this year is too weird.
Jake says the only Freight Rag shirt I own is my Cemetery Man shirt, had since high school. That's a pretty cool shirt. Cemetery Man of Della Morte. It's a fascinating film because it's kind of David Lynch's Mulholland Drive before Mulholland Drive, which is kind of fascinating that this kind of film that has this cult following of kind of rabid gorehound horror fans was kind of cutting edge art horror 10 years before Lynch got around to actually doing it. So I find that fascinating. Great film though, underrated. And I use that because even the people who love it usually haven't investigated that movie. There's so much thought into that. It's really well written.
I'm gonna have to go look that up. I have not seen it.
Well, the good news is, Sam, because you're coming at it late, is you don't have to search for an uncut edition because that's all that exists now. For years, it was cut to hell, and now it's available everywhere intact, no matter which title you buy it under or see it under. So,
what year did
the way I'm jealous.
Or what year was that?
91, 92, I want to say. Someone out there help me. I'm not going to Google it. The great Michael Suave. Dave is saying that could be. Seems a little late, but that could be.
Okay.
Dave says, I'm so done with the heat and humidity in New Jersey.
You can come on down to Texas and have some of ours.
It's been pretty ugly up here for the last week and a half, 2 weeks. Legit miserable.
Yeah.
And depending where you are in Jersey, if you're living on concrete and asphalt, then it's even hot. It feels even hotter. Yeah. I'm lucky; I have shade trees and stuff. So, but.
Our tree died. Like we planted a peach tree in the backyard. That motherfucker's dead. It was not happening. And I know I'm not the only person that's been having issues with peach trees in Texas. Our pecan tree is doing is aces. It's totally fine. Peach tree, nope. Couldn't save it. Tried mulch, tried grow spikes, watered the shit out of it. It's just not happening this year.
Yeah, my goji's doing tremendous. It loves this because it thinks it's in Japan now. So it's doing wonderful. But
yeah, summers in Japan can be pretty humid. It's like typhoon season around June-ish. So I guess that would probably extend the humidity.
Laundry says, I'm surrounded by corn and buildings built in the 1800s. And the correction was buildings, but I got it before the correction came up.
Yeah, a lot of corn out there.
That's all right. Kansas is very flat. I drove through Kansas, and it was the dullest drive in my life. I stopped in Lawrence, Kansas, and it looked like the rest of Kansas.
Yeah, I mean...
No offense to Kansas, but it's very flat.
Yeah. I'm just thinking, it's like corn mazes, and Halloween, but I went to a corn maze at a little carnival, and it was in October, so it was kind of like it was a haunted corn maze. But it was in Louisiana, and I was just it was just really disappointing, And it's not like because it was a bad corn maze, I was just really underwhelmed by it. I'm still kind of bummed about it.
That's why you got to go to corn mazes in Jersey that are close to the metro areas, because that adds an additional level of danger. Whereas someone might stab you in the corn maze for real. I mean,
and it might not be a monster.
It's entirely possible. Well, depending on how you define monster, but yeah, it's entirely possible. It's not really so far out there.
The corn maze rave in Freddy vs. Jason was a decent scene. There's parts of that movie that I can't stick up for, like most of the dialogue in the middle.
Oh, the funniest exposition ever. My favorite line of exposition that goes nowhere in that movie is, wait, Freddy died by fire, Jason died by drowning. How can we use that? And then they don't.
So bad.
It's not the actors. The actors are all doing exactly what they're asked to do. They're really not bad, but the dialogue is just not there for them.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I don't know why it is, that film looks like a television show.
It kind of does. Yeah, it kind of has a weird, teen TV look to it, maybe.
There's that one sequence where they go outside and the dad and the kid are on the porch, and it looks like an establishing shot from a sitcom. Because it's for you expect, and then they'll like go inside and something will happen around the couch.
I remember somebody mentioning that like the dad in that movie sitting on the porch like right before his head falls off. He looks like Alex Jones.
Oh, that's hilarious. You know what? There has to be a movie producer out there that'll stunt cast Alex Jones into something just for the reaction from people.
I know, but I don't think people would believe it's him. Like, I feel like they're going to be like, that's an Alex Jones impersonator. Although I'm not sure who's making their living off of that.
The last season of X-Files pretty much had him as a character. They just didn't hire him.
Was he the guy that played Joel McHale was playing?
Yep.
Okay. That's right. Yeah.
Joel McHale's a weird actor. He just shows up and things, and you're like, what is he doing here? Like, oh, is that always your reaction? Like, what's he doing here?
Yeah, it's kind of like I don't know how to respond to it depending on the movie. Like, he was in Assassination Nation, which I thought was a really solid movie, but I was still also kind of confused. Like, why is he in this? It's,
the mayhem guy from those insurance commercials. Whenever he shows up on something, I'm like, it's him.
Yeah.
Although, I think that guy could have a hell of a career though, because like, if you were to ask me anyone, who would you cast as a new John McClane? It's him.
Oh, yeah, I can see that.
Because we know he looks kind of good, beat to shit.
Yeah.
But he is also like kind of a tough guy, So it's kind of like what Bruce Willis was at that time without the jokes. True.
Yeah. Man, I think like what's our thriving action series besides John Wick right now? I don't know if there is one.
New? No, I don't. I mean, they wanted Nobody to be it, and that won't be happening.
No,
I think not that it's bad. There's just nowhere to go.
Yeah, probably also the timing of the release was not great, but that's a shame. I still need to go and watch that. I thought the trailer looked interesting, although I'm not well versed with Bob Odenkirk's career, so
it's the kind of movie that when you see the trailer, it says, okay, this is what the movie's going to be, and then you get there and you get exactly that movie, And then in a way, that's fine because you bought a ticket to see that movie, and that's cool. On the other hand, it's not going to surprise you one bit, and that's a little disappointing.
Yeah, I kind of just popping around the streaming sites and checking out different movies this week. I guess I kind of had that feeling where it's like I went into it and just I had no idea what I was in for, and then it just kept getting more and more confusing. Like, I watched fucking Mind Ripper. Oh my god.
Why did you do that?
I have no idea.
Wow.
Thor
That's a danger.
Came out of Faith No More's epic video.
What is this?
I can't. And it's just, I mean, it was weird because I was also thinking, this kind of reminds me of Splice, and I'd really like to just go back and watch Splice now, but I don't want to think about the fact that maybe Mind Ripper influenced Splice.
I like Splice a lot. I think that's the most
I love
Cronenberg.
It's really good.
I think it's the most Cronenberg film that Cronenberg didn't direct.
It's fantastic. It's exactly what I expected, and hey, it delivers and then some. But
And how weird is it that the genetic mutation is kind of hot?
yeah, although her eyes are like super wide, and I mean, I know the actress has kind of wide eyes, but I they CG'd them even wider, and
I'm not sure what to say. No, I might be okay with that.
I mean, you may as well put a third one in the middle there, like keep it symmetrical. But like, dude, Mind Ripper was fucking terrible, and
Yeah,
I mean, it's
always
like,
has been.
well, I'd never seen it, and I'm just like, this is just. It was made in '95 after Wes Craven's New Nightmare. It looks like it's in some weird limbo between between late '70s, early '80s, the way it's shot. And okay, Lance Henriksen, always giving a good performance, but Jesus Christ, his idiot children. Oh my God, did we have to include those characters in this movie? Really?
You know what's kind of hilarious is that movie, when they went for international distribution, they're like, we'll just call it Hills Have Eyes 3. That'll get them in.
I saw that and I was like, this is not even a tiny bit like adjacent to Hills Have Eyes. Like, it's trying to spit on the Hills Have Eyes just to get some of that nice Hills Have Eyes dirt on itself, and it's like, no, that's not working, guys.
Yeah, I'll tell you, it was clearly made for the burgeoning direct-to-video market. Video stores finally there was a stigma for a lot of years that if something didn't come out theatrical, that it was trash, and that was kind of by '95 loosening up a lot quickly, and that's a better word. It was loosening up quickly, and it was just made to kind of just get in there and make some money of people who would give it a chance finally. And wow.
Yeah.
We do have a question from Horroritorium.
Okay.
Do you guys have a favorite niche subgenre of horror? I know some people love aquatic horror or historical horror. Curious on your thoughts.
I mean, I'm pretty much okay, niche, I'm gonna probably go with supernatural monster that will, inevitably come back for multiple movies. But I don't really discriminate, with my niches. I do love aquatic horror though. Because I also enjoy space horror most of the time. Aquatic horror is always fun though. Anything that's sort of like, hey, there's a monster. Oh, hey, the environment's also trying to kill you. Those good times. Those are usually good. I also enjoy doll horror. Creepy dolls are good. I don't know if there's one I particularly dislike other than found footage. But I don't know. It depends on the movie itself. It depends on the plot.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of all over the place too. If I have to pick a favorite niche, I really, really love when films can pull off the uncanny, no matter how they can get there. So something like Hereditary is kind of perfect for me. Also, but you don't even have to be that. Like Cat People, the original film, is a great version of uncanny. I like when you are put off because things are just a little bit wrong. That's really powerful to me. And I know that's not really a niche, but that's what I find myself going back to more than anything. I mean, strictly speaking, I guess that's classic monster story movies, whether you're talking Universal or the early Fox or early Paramount stuff. That's pretty much my golden age, as well as the real golden age. So I don't feel like we didn't answer you at all, but that's okay.
I mean, we have so many we like. So I mean, top three would probably. I mean, if I'm doing top three, I'm going to be supernatural monster, then slasher, and then probably aquatic horror, because dolls just can't. The doll horror doesn't measure up quite that much.
What if there was a doll that swam?
Would you get out of my head? I was thinking about that already.
All right.
I mean, we had, if we can have Leprechaun and Jason and kind of Hellraiser in space.
Leprechaun in Atlantis.
No, I'm just thinking like Chucky underwater. I don't need Leprechaun. I don't need Leprechaun underwater. Although I would. Oh God, I'd watch it just because he's going to turn somebody into a mermaid, and maybe the special effects would be really cool for that.
Or maybe not.
Or unless he turns into a mermaid or a shark. Oh my God, if the Leprechaun turned into a shark, I'm for it.
The leprechaun riding a shark.
But only if the shark is the shark. The shark is shooting lasers out of his eyes.
You can have these things. You can have these things.
I know.
Daniel is asking if anyone has seen Night House yet. He just got back from it. We were briefly discussing it before we went on the air, actually. Dan, without spoiling anything, just throw out your... well, you're probably going to save it for the show. I understand. That's fine. Jonathan is out there. He says, "What's up, y'all?" You need an apostrophe in that y'all. Otherwise, you're talking about like I don't know.
I don't know what
it's on a
y'all
contraction
is without an apostrophe. I think that there's probably an answer to that.
Laundry says, in our hard water, a doll would calcify. That would make it even scarier.
Yeah, that's correct for Texas. Although I'm finally in an area where it's not as hard.
It looks like Jake and Daniel both dug Night House.
That's good because I really want to go see both that and Candyman this weekend.
And Horatorium says they loved it. Oh, that's better reviews than I've been getting back so far. So that's pretty cool.
I mean, hey, it looks good, so I always want to give it a shot.
Yep, absolutely. And I guess that'd be another niche that I love is literary horror on screen. So if you give me your adaptation of an existing novel, you usually have my attention because I know at the very least there'll be structure to the film if they follow the novel at all.
Yeah.
Which is a big problem. Like the lack of structure really is transparent in a lot of what we consume in the genre in the last, 20 years. It seems that because structure isn't like, okay, you start with a lot of characters and kill them off one by one. That's not structure. That's not even
that's playtime.
That's not even a conceit, that's just something you did. Dan is saying he saw the Antlers trailer for the 100th time.
Wait,
maybe someday someone will see the film.
Wait, that's not Moose Jaws, is it?
No.
Okay. Damn.
Antlers is a it's a Wendigo movie. That's what it is.
That's right. I thought that movie got released a long time ago.
Nope.
Just
the
hanging
COVID
out.
decided that movie didn't need to come out.
Apparently. God, I'm really craving like movie theater popcorn again, though. Fuck. I can't remember the last movie we saw.
So I know this isn't horror, but I want to talk about it anyway. So the whole world was apparently waiting on bated breath for the Spider-Man trailer. So I watched it, and I don't know why, but there was like open subs on screen the entire time, and that was really distracting to me. I didn't know what that was about. I don't know if that's a thing people want. But I was really underwhelmed. Like, I mean, it's not my thing. I get it. But I looked at that and I said, how are people losing their shit over this? It looked exactly like everything else coming out in superhero movies and every other Spider-Man film ever.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't... I mean, as far as like the new Spider-Man movies go, I prefer Homecoming, but I'm very biased because that was my and Chris's second date is we went to go see Spider-Man Homecoming, and we had a blast, and it was just like one of the most fun nights. So I tend to prefer that movie, Homecoming, over Far From Home. But yeah, like No Way Home is it feels more of like a filler movie until we get to the Multiverse of Madness. It's just kind of like a stepping stone. And like, although I do love Alfred Molina as Doc Ock, like that's never going to go away. So I'm on board for it. I'm not, I'm not the, losing my shit over it. Like I'm when Multiverse of Madness, when that trailer drops, I'll probably talk about it for a good few days straight. But
well, that movie has some really crazy cameos set up, and not what people are thinking.
What, multiverse or?
Yeah,
I'm for it.
Including one very prominent character that Sam Raimi introduced to the world, and now is now a pop culture icon.
Oh damn! Really? That's
Yep.
something I wasn't expecting.
Yep.
Makes sense though. I mean,
so
Bruce Campbell.
Exactly. But I don't know. I mean, I'll see it because Raimi is still an interesting filmmaker to me, even though I haven't seen anything new from him that I've liked in a really long time. I still kind of always hold out hope that there'll be another great Raimi film. Although when he tried to go back to the horror genre, it didn't work for me. I thought Drag Me to Hell was an atrocious time.
It wasn't my cup of tea. I just,
It was thinner done badly.
At least thinner, there's stuff to make fun of, like the pie.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Thinner watching that again is probably good. You're going to have a better time rewatching that than rewatching Drag Me to Hell.
Yeah, I think that's pretty safe to say.
I guess, just yeah, I mean a lot of mainstream horror does feel really formulaic and has a lot of the same story beats, and they wrap up the same way. Oh, hey, there's a ghost story. Oh, hey, we solved the ghost story. Oh, hey, we figured it out. And I'm just I don't know what to do with that half the time, So
I don't love this rampant cliche of, oh, the ghost is angry because it was wronged. Just make whatever it's angry about right, and it's a happy ghost now. I don't really get that, especially when they always portray these ghosts as like just innocent people before they died horrifically. Like these are very moody ghosts.
Yeah, I mean that was kind of like that's what I liked about the ending of The Ring, is that Naomi Watts' character is telling her son that oh, we helped her, and he's like, you did what? Why did you do that? That was great. I like that. It was a nice touch.
Yeah. Yeah, the original film doesn't have to do with dialogue, and that's what I love about it. The original film is so, I don't know, it's so well crafted that it doesn't have to do everything. The American film just has to put the camera lingering on everything, like, hey, did you get what we did there? And they're not bad ideas because they're taken from a great source, but wow, like the original film, like the fact that they screw up by helping Sadako, because there is no Samura, is implied, but you have to get it and be like, oh shit, on your own, which is really deep. Like when you realize, oh shit, that was wrong, it's a bigger moment. Whereas when having that line from the kid, it's cool, but compared to the original, it just feels shallow to me.
Yeah, Sadako's a feral bitch, man. Holy shit. Awesome. Like, honestly, if we're talking about, like, heinous bitches, I think she outranks Takako from The Grudge. Because, I mean, watching, like, Ju-on, like, the original one, it's the non-linear storytelling is executed really well, and you really have to pay attention, but, like, the movie doesn't even end, and you're probably more, like, about 2/3 to 3/4 of the way through when it clicks and you hear something in the background, and it's like, oh, Rika, who we've been following this whole time and is kind of, like, supposed to be the main character, oh, she dead. And it just keeps going on with that story. I'm like, oh, this is wild. So, but yeah. Takako was more of a more sympathetic, and I at the end the whole thing with her covering her face, it's she's trying to or people covering their faces. That's kind of like how she's trying to like come across to other people, like want them to alive. And beautiful, but like her life, it ends tragically anyway because the vengeful ghost of the father or the husband comes down and dispatches with everyone. And it's sort of like, well, that's a bummer, but it makes sense. And not everything has to be a happy ending. I mean, that's why it's horror.
I love Ring Zero almost as much as the original Ringu, although I love Ringu is one of my top 25 films. So
Mhm.
there you go. But Ring Zero, if you have not seen it, it's so amazing. The film takes you three-quarters of the way through being completely sympathetic to Sadako as a living character because it's a prequel, and you're completely on her side. And then shit goes wrong, and you're not on her side anymore. And the Sadako from the original that scares the shit out of you is back full force, just like on a dime. And it's such a cool moment to see a movie be able to flex like that.
Yeah.
And it flexes hard because you can't look off the screen for a second because you're pinned, and it's great.
Yeah. I miss like really good J horror. You know, I know we had that little renaissance in the 2000s, but then it all disappeared. I mean, it's not disappeared. I mean, they're still making movies, fuck's sake. But the popularity waned. I think probably, you know, Paranormal Activities kind of came on the scene, and we already had the Saw movies, but that was kind of running concurrent to the J horror. So, but I think we kind of shifted over to weird found footage and then ghost stories, like Conjuring.
Well,
I'm only
Blum,
speaking of mainstream though.
yeah, Blum came out, and now it's like you don't bother importing ghost films from anywhere to America because we have so many of them coming out every year here.
Yeah.
Um, we were just talking on another channel about Quiet Ones, which is
Yeah.
that Hammer film. Uh, I think that's the best modern ghost film. Again, after the J horror explosion, because I guess that's not. I guess that's classic at this point. Man, I'm old.
Oh, me
Um,
too.
but I love Quiet Ones. If you haven't seen Quiet Ones, you should check out Quiet Ones. It's one of those movies that kind of got ignored, and it never deserved to be ignored because it's awesome.
Yeah, I definitely did not hear about it. That's the one that was 2014, a few years ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh, you know, Jeff Woods is saying I like a lot of South Korean stuff. The Wailing was amazing. The Wailing is amazing. Absolutely. Now, I just saw Odd Family, which is a Korean film that's a kind of pseudo sequel to the Biozombie films, and it blew me the hell away. It was great. Unfortunately, it's not a new film anymore. It's like 3 years old or something. But I just finally got a hold of a copy, and wow, wow! Talk about a case study and making you care about characters. Really, even though they're not cloyingly sympathetic. Like they're grifters. They're a family of grifters, which is kind of a horrible thing. But you grow to really understand their dynamic and love their dynamic. Um, about a zombie that escapes from a government lab, which is pretty transparently the biozombie lab, but legally not so. And they capture a zombie, and they start selling zombie bites to the old men in town, which is giving them virility. But there's an incubation period. It's great. It is definitely a zombie comedy, but it's to me even more effective than Shaun of the Dead, because
Yeah.
while Shaun of the Dead's jokes all land, the movie becomes about a couple people or a couple performers really
Hmm.
at a certain point. And while Shaun is great about still being a legitimate zombie film, I think it works. Odd Family just had a lot more to say, and it was made before the pandemic, but oh god, every moment of it just completely mirrors the pandemic.
I was gonna
Right
say.
down to vaccinations, it's all there.
Oh my god.
It's great. So Odd Family, Zombie
Oh,
for Sam.
yeah, it's on Prime, and then Wailing is everywhere: Tubi, Pluto TV, Hulu. Awesome. I need to get back on my J horror though, because I gotta prep for JLPT. That's gonna be fun.
Yep.
It's only 6,000 vocabulary words. It's fine.
Fizz asks favorite Takashi Miki film.
Nikkei.
Yeah.
I mean, I've only seen Ichi the Killer. That's Takashi. Wait, that is Takashi Miike, right?
It is.
Okay.
It is.
Yeah, I've only seen Ichi the Killer, and that was way back when it was like the early 2000s, whenever it first came over here. It was like probably shortly thereafter.
I mean, I've told my audition story a million times, and that theater experience is
Yeah,
gonna
it's solid.
always force it to lead the pack for me. But he's a director who's made so many films that I don't think there's anyone out there who can say what is the best Mickey film, right? Because I don't think anyone's seen them all. He makes what, 5 a year. I mean,
I'm terrified to go and like try and find out how many he's made. Like, Jesus.
it's gonna be a lot.
I mean, it's like I'm gonna go with Audition over Ichi the Killer, though.
Audition is pretty awesome. I think it's very different than everything else he did, because it really does take its time to like build you up to the big grand finale, which is legitimately awesome. But he really builds, and he's not really known for that. He's known for kind of like racing to the point.
He has 111 directing credits.
So there you go.
Also, his birthday was yesterday, so happy belated birthday, Takashi Miike.
There you go. He is an old man.
That's not stopping him. He's Japanese. He'll work till he's dead.
Exactly. Jake is saying Gozu and 13 Assassins are both fantastic. I like a lot of his stuff, though. Well, I'm jealous because if you're a fan, like, you'll never run out of new films to say, right? You're never going to get to the point where you're like, oh, shit, now there's no more. Like Fulci, I felt was a big catalog. But then I got to a point where there's just like kind of his early comedies and rock and roll movies that I haven't seen. And I'm kind of like bummed that I'll never find another Fulci film in the genre. But Miki, you could go on pretty much forever.
Let's hope so, anyway.
So, you're planning to see Candyman this weekend?
Yeah, do we want to take bets on how bad the CGBs are going to be? You know they ain't gonna be. You know they're not gonna be doing the Tony Todd thing where it's like he got paid like $1,000 for every bee sting he got on Candyman, and he ended up pocketing 23 grand. I'm like, that's smart. And they were baby bees anyway, but still. But you know what? I bet he has no arthritis.
No, he's good.
I mean, but yeah, I'm sure they're gonna be CGBs, and I'm sure I'm going to hate them. But yeah, there's just like a lot of people like kind of. Oh my god, Candyman! I legit saw the funniest tweet yesterday where it's like somebody was like called it movie of the year. I can't. I'm sorry. We get a lot of horror movies every year. You're really gonna call the Candyman sequel, whatever it is, the movie of the year? Please stop.
Well, have you seen there's a campaign on Twitter to get Jamie Lee Curtis nominated for Best Supporting Actress for Halloween Kills among people who have not yet seen the film? Yeah, keep processing. It doesn't get easier.
Who's Best Actress then in that movie?
Well, it's Ashley
Why
Greer.
is the Best Supporting Actress?
Because she's
Why
barely.
do people apparently they're not very good fans because it's like, well, if you really were going to commit to this, you'd go for Best Actress, but you don't care. You're just trying to virtue signal and get Senpai to notice you over here on Twitter, get internet points with Jamie Lee.
I'm hoping that's what it is. Because from what's in the trailer, I think that they listen. I think it's possible to be a Best Actress in film, in a horror film. I'm not prejudiced about that at all. My lady Tapsi actually did it in India, so you can do it here. But man, I don't know, that "Let Him Burn" line is not a solid seller on Actress of the Year. It just isn't.
I just don't think that Halloween Kills is going to be the movie that gets an Academy, gets a Best Actress Oscar. I just don't. And I mean, I guess if you guys are trying to shoot low for Best Supporting, it's like, please. No.
Well, she has to be Best Supporting because she's barely in the movie.
Then just wait until Halloween ends or whatever the fuck the third one is.
If it ever gets made.
Yeah, whatever.
So that's the other issue. So, despite some news accounts, Venom is not moving off of its day and date release, which is the same day as Halloween Kills.
I can see both.
Yeah, but most people won't. But most people will see one or the other, and I think that is a problem for Halloween, because if it goes a week later, that gives it a much shorter window before the holiday of its namesake. Most normies will not go see a film called Halloween in November. That's
Oh,
just
I, yeah,
and if
that's
it goes
for
early, the problem is it gets shortcut by Venom. It'll have its opening weekend, but even by the middle of the next week, people have moved on. I'm going to go see one movie this week. It's going to be so. It's a pretty hard knock life right now for Halloween Kills, I think.
I think they're gonna be fine, actually. I mean, when it comes to like Venom versus Halloween, if there's a movie coming out around Halloween that's called Halloween, most people that want to go see a movie, like for just like, hey, I want to get out of the house, I want to go have fun. Yeah, I'm probably gonna go, like, unless they're just fucking losers that don't like Halloween, they're gonna go see Halloween. Are there horror fans that don't like Halloween? If so, how do you live with yourself?
Well, I don't. I'm a horror fan that loves Halloween.
No, I mean the holiday.
Yeah, no, definitely.
No,
I think the problem is, again, that the normies, them not in the horror community, they kind of are okay with one Halloween movie every 10 years or so. That's what they support.
yeah.
We'll see if that's different this time, but it didn't need this additional wrinkle of having to compete with a Marvel character.
Yeah, I think it'll be fine. I think some people that can only, say if they only have the time, they only have the time, or they only have the money to go see one or the other on the weekend. I think it's going to be in Halloween's favor, because Venom is one of those movies. It's like, okay, well, there's no rush to see that, but I'm feeling all spoopy, so it's like I want to go see like a scary movie, and hey, this one's called Halloween.
I hope you're right, because I want the film to do
I
well.
have faith there.
There's nothing to be, no matter how skeptical of the film I am, for good reason. There's no part of me that wants the film to fail, because anytime a horror film, especially a prominent horror film, fails at the box office, it means that the distributors get that much less interested in the genre.
Yeah.
So when you have a lot of big films fail, you face a long time of not having nearly as many horror films in the cinema at any given week. And I do not want that to happen. I lived through the 90s. I don't want to live through it again. So
I went religiously like every weekend in the late 90s. My mom and I went on like pretty much every weekend. If there was like any horror movie playing, we were watching it. We helped keep 90s horror alive and well. Holy shit. Oh, it was good times though. Those were good times.
I definitely saw all those 90s scream wave slasher films. I don't have real good memories of pretty much any of them. People always go back to me and say, well, what do you think of Urban Legend, or what do you think of Valentine? And I like those films more than I like the Scream sequels, definitely. But there's just a sameness to all that really like bothers me. And even at the time, it bothered me. I love that. Listen, I just come from like 6 years of 5 theatrical horror films or whatever it was. I was just glad to see stuff out there. Yeah, but the movies themselves were leaving a lot to be desired for me. And I know they have their fans, and I'm not telling you what you should like, but for me, it was always very tough.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where it's like I do appreciate, like, for some reason, I feel I kind of I do feel somewhat bad about shitting on like the Ghost, like, okay, so the whole Ghost movie formula, because it's the same, right? It's like, oh, spooky shit, oh, ghost story, oh, we figured it out, right? Because for some people out there, they're probably coming into horror for the first time, depending on how old they are, through some of those, and they might have like the nostalgia feel for it, for that same setup, right? And they find comfort in the same beats. Like I find comfort in like the same beats of space horror, aquatic horror, slasher. For me, like, that's why I really, for me, that's why I really enjoy like the Scream movies. I know what you did last summers, except for the third one. uh, but the urban legends, Valentine, I'm like, I can take it or leave it. I watch it if it's on. But it's because like I have those same. They're all like nostalgia beats for me. So my brain, my brain picks up on the repetition, and it's like, hey, this is familiar. Oh, hey, we like this. And I know that that's there for some people that are into ghost stories, and I know that's there for some people that are like found footage is their thing. And I feel bad that I can't like relate to them more, but at the same time I'm like, but this other stuff's better. Y'all thought I was gonna be nice for a second, huh?
I just think it's one of those things. Like there's definitely jumping off horror movies, right? And I think those are important to have. But I think there's a big difference between, say, Urban Legend Final Cut, right? Which you could argue, well, that's a jumping off. Someone's going to see that for the first time and be like, oh, blown away, and that'll make them watch other movies. And like the people who in the 70s came up saying The Exorcist or The Omen or, basically anything released in the 70s. Yeah. You're just starting at a higher plateau to begin with. And maybe that'll lead to disappointment today, but it's a great place to start. I don't know if I hadn't grown up with the Universal Monsters and with Psycho and Night of the Living Dead and even the original Friday the 13th, the original Halloween, if I'd be like the person I am today, frankly. So It's a little bit tough for me to defend it's someone's favorite film because they have the warm fuzzies because they saw it when they were 9. Cool, but couldn't we have given them something better to be in that position?
Spoken like a true elitist.
Do you think? I don't mean it like that.
I'm just busting your balls. I mean, like, again, we're all gonna have things that we like and dislike. And it's just like I really want to like be excited for these people that found their thing when they were young and it was found footage. I really want to be excited for them, but because of my personal biases, I can't. Biases, I can't. And I'm just sort of like, I know I'm being a jackass. I'm a self-aware jackass, though. I don't know what to do beyond that. I can't, like, make myself, like, be down with found footage because it's somebody's favorite. I mean, hey, whatever gets you into horror, I guess. We'll take all the converts.
So Dan says, what is your favorite late 90s horror? I'm going to say you'd expand that so that it's that whole wave because I'm not going to worry if something's like the year 2000.
I can do top 3. I can't do favorite. But I'm probably going to go with Bride of Chucky. And then The Rage Carrie 2. And then, all right, tied for third, it's going to be Scream 2 and Urban Legend. I do have a lot of fun with Urban Legend. I know what you did last summer is probably coming in 4th, but hey, whatever.
So I'm going to cheat.
Okay.
Because I know this is not what you mean, but Ringo is a late 90s horror film. So that would be my favorite. But you mean, obviously, Dan, you meant of the American wave. And I would say The Faculty.
Oh, damn, that's a good choice. I like that movie a lot.
Yeah, it's one of those movies that people, again, don't talk about nearly enough.
Yes.
But it has that Scream aesthetic, but it actually does something with it.
Yes, and the cast is great.
Yeah, it's kind of a crazy movie that's not kind of color in the lines of that movement. And I do dig that film a lot. I mean, that said, I own it on DVD, and I'm kind of cool with that forever. I never needed on anything better. So I wouldn't say it's one of my favorite films, but of that wave, yeah, I think it's heads and tails better.
Yeah, definitely.
And so I think Dan desperately wants us to talk about Jess Franco. But I'm not going to do that.
Talk about who?
Jess Franco?
I don't know who that is. James Franco or just...
Yes.
James Franco.
No. Jess Franco.
No idea who that is.
I'll tell you what, we'll make that a different episode so that Sam can get up to speed, or maybe I'm just bluffing and we'll never actually do that. Fascination.
I'm very curious now. Like, I feel like that Mariah Carey gif where it's like, I don't even know who that is. When she's talking about Nicki Minaj.
I hate Mariah Carey. Griffin says the
Oh
relic is.
wow, Dark Horse right there.
It's not that late though, isn't it? Isn't that like 95 or something? Wasn't
Maybe.
that one of the few black hole horror films that came out during the mid 90s?
Relic is an interesting one.
It's
I
good.
tried rewatching it, but the thing is, it was like I had it on in the background, and it's not really a movie that you can rewatch with it in the background. You kind of actually do have to pay attention to things to kind of appreciate it. So I remember it being interesting, though.
Jake says he grew up with everything simultaneously 40s to 70s horror on TV, 80s stuff on VHS, and my parents were renting newer stuff like Scream, House on Haunted Hill, 99, and The Faculty.
Damn,
Jake,
House on Haunted Hill, 99.
Freaking grow up. That's kind of similar to my story. I mean, you've all heard it, so I'm not going to retell it. But yeah, I when something comes out is not terribly important to me, and I think that's how I'd prefer to live if I had a choice. I don't have a choice, but
You know, looking back, I think I have to like question my mother's parenting abilities because we didn't watch stuff like the classic horror. We didn't watch any like classic horror. We didn't watch any 60s or 70s stuff. But we did watch a lot of shit like Inseminoid. That's why I had that flashback on the recording last night because I was like,
okay. I just want to point out that Captain Halloween says hello all, and Laundry's response brilliantly is howdy, Captain,
beautiful, beautiful.
which is perhaps a little dyslexic but perfect.
It is.
Dan is saying hello to everyone they missed while recommending retro smut. That's why you're around, Dan.
It's true.
Inseminoid, I felt like that was going a place I didn't want to go for the Dual show. It was kind of crossing a line. I don't know.
All
Not
I
that-
know is like I
didn't
probably
really
saw
much-
that at some point, but it's like I grew up like because we rented movies at the we rented movies at Blockbuster all the time, but there are only so many actual horror movies that were released theatrically that we would end up seeing, and my mom's like a huge sci-fi fan, so it definitely was stuff like Inseminoid. I know Carnosaur was in there, but Carnosaur's rad. And then that's how I came to fall in love with like Deep Star 6 and then Leviathan, all sorts of aquatic horror because of that. But it's like, Mom, you raised me like on all of this other stuff that you could have been giving me like higher quality movies, and I'm just see like that actually drives me to have children so I can raise them better than that, like raise them on good horror.
Jake says, "Oh, no, that's not Jake." Cliff says he'll make a point to watch every Jess Franco movie I have to me over the next week. That's going to be an entertaining week. Tell us how your sanity holds up. Jake says, "What is the best Udo Kier movie and why is it called Flesh for Frankenstein?" That is not exactly true because he is in Suspiria.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know if you've picked it up, man. Did you pick up your Blood for Dracula UHD? It's a beautiful thing.
I was seeing something that was fucking had Udo Kier in it, and I don't remember what it was. It's because he has like 270 credits, so it's like I'm not gonna know what it is, but it's like apparently he's in something called Chompy and the Girls, so says IMDb, and I'm very concerned. And he's the voice of Chompy. And I'm like, Udo Kier is dead, right?
No,
He's not? I thought he
Udo's
died.
he's with us. Unless I'm wrong, tell me out there. Dan, is Udo alive? I think he's alive. So hear me out on this. I love Shock Treatment, the sequel to Rocky Horror, more than I love Rocky Horror. And I love Rocky Horror, but I love Shock Treatment. And I know I just lost the entire audience, but that's okay.
I didn't know there was a sequel.
There was a sequel to Rocky Horror called Shock Treatment. But very, very infamously, Tim Curry refused to come back. So instead, they kind of made this plot. They tweaked the screenplay to make this plot where so that they could have this actor who played Brad also play the role that Tim Curry was going to have, which is not Frankenfurter. I always thought they should have gotten Udo Kier because if anyone's going to replace Tim Curry, it's Udo. Am I wrong?
I could see.
Plus, I just wanted Udo to sing.
Well, I mean, if Udo Kier is not dead, I've probably jinxed him. Sorry.
And also, if they'd done that, that would have made a incredible Suspiria reunion because Jessica Harper is also is the lead in Shock Treatment, and she of course was in Suspiria. So, see, this is why Hollywood doesn't call me.
I think it's just because like you need to get the power mullet happening again, because that's intimidating.
That's what I can do.
You just get a wig and style it. It's fine. And we're not going to judge.
Jake, the thing is, there's no comparing the two movies. Frankenstein is way better than Dracula of the two Paul Morrissey films. But you know what? I like both, and I think they both work for what they are. It is an amazing release. I hope that you enjoy it because I love when films that probably are not intuitively the choices to get these great transfers get them. Something beautiful about that. We live in a world where there's three Fulci films in UHD. That's a pretty wonderful place to live.
Oh, ignore the camera. I have to move my legs. Stupid closet.
So, Jeff, I bought that on the sale, which made it half price, so it was like $25 rather than the $50 if it's suggested retail. And to be honest with you, if there had been like a regular Blu-ray edition for less, I probably would have gone for that because although this is an amazing box and it looks great, UHD is one of those things that I'm just very careful about which titles I buy in that format because I'm a little bit worried that the format's not going to survive. It's only responsible for 6% of all home video sales.
Dang.
And yeah, and that doesn't bode well for a generational format. So there's also less players on the market. We did get one additional player on the market this year globally, but I don't know. I worry about that format leaving us high and dry if we invest in it too much.
Yeah.
Thankfully, a lot of those releases do come with the Blu-ray as well, so it won't be a complete loss. So, Sam, we've been doing it an hour. We're going to give these guys a few more minutes to ask us any questions they want and let us riff off that. But what do you have planned for the rest of your week?
Working. Also, we're going to be doing the show with Matt Doyle. Sorry, Jesus.
I didn't screw it up this time.
I pronounced it correctly. I just forgot it briefly. My afternoon nap was only 15 minutes, so it's not fair. Life isn't fair. I didn't get my full hour and a half to 2 hour nap in the middle of the day on a Wednesday. No, we've got we've got Matt Doyle on Friday, and I am going to be trying to snag in some studying also on the side, and then I'm excited because I want it to be the weekend because I want to go to the fucking movies.
Hell yeah.
I want to go to the fucking movies. I want to go see Candyman. Well, I mean, I want to go see Night House, and I guess I'll see Candyman. Everybody else is doing it.
Well, this is a bridge that people are jumping off, that's for sure.
I am happy, though, that I, was able to find a Candyman DVD like a few years back since we did a Candyman episode for Sheebie Jeebies with my friend Sergio. He was on season 3 of Face Off for Sci-Fi Channel. And we did that episode, and it was hard as fuck to find Candyman. Like, it wasn't streaming anywhere. And luckily, there was an awesome person at the DVD exchange not too far from me that, was a horror hound and had no problem finding it. So, I don't know. I need to also. I also want to go to CD or not CD DVD exchange. See what I can pick up. See if I can find any hidden gems.
You actually have one, like a video store that you can buy movies at?
You guys don't have those?
Not for years now.
Places where you can like sell your CDs and DVDs up there.
Well, I could go down to Princeton Record Exchange, I suppose. They'll buy DVDs and sell used DVDs. But generally speaking, now they're pretty much all gone.
Oh man, I'm spoiled. Maybe
You are.
we have a bunch.
So also on the 31st, we'll be back with a community show.
Indeed, we will.
Letting these people speak.
I guess.
Hey, MJ.
Hey, what up, man?
Right as we're almost done, but
still.
no, it's awesome to see you, man. Curatorium, thank you. We appreciate that. So, guys, that's the other thing I'd like to. Oh, before we do that, we have an actual question. Jake says, best non-Italian giallo film.
I don't really eat gelato.
Oh. Interesting question. Actually, on Obscurity Report, we just covered one of them. But I want to be careful about this. In some ways, it's tough because if it's not from Italy, is it really a giallo?
I would say no, because it's like champagne. It has to be like in that one area of France.
Yeah, but it's tough too because if you look back at what giallo started off, the books that coined the phrase that got transferred over into film, a lot of those were reprints of American novels. Yeah. So it's a little bit. It's definitely possible to be. Beware My Brethren, which we talked about on Obscurity Report, I think is definitely in the running for that. I think that's a great, wonderful, underrated film. Jake is saying Alice, Sweet Alice. It's a great film as well. Perfect Blue, the Japanese animated film, probably be on that list. Trying to think what else I would put. It's tough because, again, I would say A Stranger's Watching, the Sean S. Cunningham adaptation of Mary Higgins Clark, probably deserves to be on that list as well. Film not enough people talk about is. It's a tough question and one probably worth its own show at some point, to be honest. Jake is saying he's talking about how it's always a little bit hard to define the giallo because like stage fright can be a slasher. I'd say stage fright is a slasher. I think its intentions were not really the giallo intentions. But anyway, guys, what you really can do for the channel, we are approaching 700 subs very quickly, and that's exciting for us. It's been a long road climbing. I've said it a million times. I never wanted to grow from doing something cheap and splashy on this channel. I always wanted to make sure you came here knowing you were going to get something you could dig your teeth a little bit more into than elsewhere. We're never going to just, give you a ranking of our favorite Chucky movies here. It's just never going to be an episode. And hopefully there's an audience for that here. Hopefully that allows us to get a little bit deeper. But we would love it if you have friends in the community that are not subscribed, point them towards us. I think we do a lot of things that are very different than a lot of channels out there. And you guys are the strength. The audience is the best thing about the show. There's not a question about that. So if you get the opportunity this week, just throw some bones our way in the form of people.
Yeah, not actual, but well, I mean, you can send me real bones. It's fine. No, but everybody's really cool, and I appreciate like this huge collective wealth of knowledge that I've somehow been able to join. So, thank you for letting me hang out with y'all. You're super fun. But I mean, like, I hear about new shit every fucking day. It's amazing. Oh, also I forgot. Yeah, I'll be popping in on Region Free tomorrow. I need fucking coffee. I'm sorry. I need to get a fucking like one of those apple crisp macchiatos tomorrow at some point in order to function properly.
Well, definitely get a big one because you know that crew. Anyway, thank you guys. We'll see you soon.
share, subscribe, all that fun stuff.
Either way,
So if you like,
nature.
Take a look.
burned my skin, futzed around in the water, driftwood all over the beach, and this